Hi, it's Blake here at Builder Kids, and today we're going to tell you how to refelt a pool table. Ours is a 7-foot bar size pool table, and we have the tools that we're going to need are a screwdriver.
Just some pliers?
Pliers, yeah. Smaller pliers.
Mm-hmm.
And then some scissors, a box knife, or a razor
utility
blade.
knife. Mm-hmm.
A drill to make it faster. 3M high strength 90 adhesive spray.
Yep. Well, so I could show you. Yeah, this is the contact adhesive. So there's different ones out there. This is a high strength, low VOC since we're in the house, and it should do a really good job because I've seen other people use it for something like this.
And this is the felt that we're using. It's a 7-foot because we have a 7-foot pool table, and this is where what we have it in black. And then 7-foot, it tells you. So if you have like an 8 or a 9-foot, you can change that.
Yeah, so we have, this one is, if you could see it, we got a 19 ounce. There are different ounces. I think standard pool tables usually come with a 19 ounce. So it's the weight of the felt, just like the thickness. There's different ones depending on the level of play and the size table that you have. This one I think is fairly standard. So that that's what we went with. And like Blake was saying, this one is the table and the rail set. So when we open it up, we'll show you there's one big piece that will cover the table, and then
smaller pieces that will cover the rails.
Yeah, the individual rails. Yeah, so you don't have to get one big piece of felt and cut it. This will have pieces that are cut pretty close to the size of each of the rails.
And how we're going to do it to get off the rails, there are some screws right here. And there's screws on each side like this. We're going to unscrew them, and we're going to take this off. And then there will be more screws that we can unscrew, and then this rail will pop off. And once all the rails are off, the whole base is just a big piece of slate. So we're going to pick it up, and we have some wood over here that when we pick it up, we're going to slide the wood under so that we can take out the big piece under the slate.
Yep, that's right. So you could use wood whatever you have laying around. Obviously, we had different pieces here. I would recommend at least a 2x4, maybe a 2x6, or if you have a 4x4, because the slate is very heavy. So like Blake said, we're going to take both of these longer pieces. We're going to lift the slate up, and we're going to slide it here and slide it there to get the slate up above the surface of the edge of the pool table. And then I have these little sections of 2x4. Once we do that, we're going to lift it up and maybe put those in the center. So that way the edge of the slate is up off of even these pieces so that we can get our hands underneath of it and tuck the new felt under. We can get the old felt off and tuck the new felt underneath of it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to start taking all these screws out. We'll just put the camera in the back and speed this up so you can see how that goes. And we'll get the wood under, get this thing lifted up. And then we'll show you what the rails look like and how to take the old felt off. It should hopefully just peel off. This table's pretty old. It's been on here for a long time. I'm hoping that it just comes right off. And if not, then we'll figure that out when we get to it. Once that's done, we'll get the new felt, lay it out. We'll get the adhesive. We're going to spray the slate and the back side of the felt, let it get tacky. We'll explain that again when we get to that point. Set it down, wrap it around it, and then set everything in place. Okay, we got the screws out. We're going to put those over on our table so we don't lose them. And Blake is taking the trim off. Okay, as you can see, these are the longer ones that are holding the bumpers in place. Blake's taking those off. I'm going to get him a flathead attachment for the drill so we can speed this up. And then we'll get these off.
Okay, we finished taking out all the screws in this one. As you can see, they're all on the table. And ours, we got this used, so they're labeled. So this one's A, and then B, C, and like so on.
Yeah, so here you can see the back of the bumper actually says A, and on the inside of the table it actually is marked A. So it's marked like that all the way around. If it's not marked like that, I would suggest doing that before you take anything off of the table so you know exactly where it goes. And then for the bumpers, if you look, there's an angle, if you could sort of see this, like this. The top part is kind of, I don't know how to explain this, kind of runs in the same direction or in the same plane as the top of the bumper, and then you have a little piece that goes down that's cut down. Obviously that goes on the bottom side. So when you take these off and refelt them and then put them back on, just make sure that the top is here and then the part that's more angled is facing down. Okay, so we're going to take all these off and then we're going to lift the slate up and put the wood underneath of it.
And we're going to take these and put them directly under, just so in case we forget, like, which we won't because they're labeled, but if you don't have them labeled, you can put them right under and, you know, lift it back up and it goes in.
Yep, we're going to do that, and we're going to put all the screws just like that. We put all the trim pieces all the way around the table. That way it just makes it easier. Just don't make one big pile. Spread it out a little bit. Okay, so we have it up on the wood. We're going to put the other two pieces of wood under here, just a section, again, to give our hands a little bit of room under here. But this is what it looks like. It gets it up just high enough that we can get underneath. You can see how the old felt was kind of tucked under here and how it's starting to come off. Like I said, if we get it up a little bit higher, we'll give our hands just a little bit more room, and then it shouldn't be too bad, again, to take off. So this process is obviously a lot easier on a one-piece slate than on a three-piece. So a lot of residential pool tables are three-piece slates, and I think you could use a similar process, but again, you got to watch because you're gonna have three different pieces. So you may have to support them differently, or on, I think a lot of the three-piece ones, the whole rail section, including the bumpers and everything, comes off so that you don't have to lift the slate up like this. I haven't done one of those yet. So I just knew how this one came apart because when we moved it, we had to take the bumpers out and take the slate out to make it easier to lift up and get in the door. So that's what we have here. We're going to get those other two pieces in, and then we're going to start working on the bumpers. I'll show you the back side of this. You can see it's wrapped around, it's spray glued, and then they did actually staple the ends of it right here where it bunches up, so we may try to do the same thing. I think we could probably just hit it with a little bit more adhesive and put it over on top of itself. Maybe cut some of the material out, but if that doesn't work, then we might staple it. It's not stapled anywhere else along the middle. It's just at the end where this wraps over. So I'm going to start taking this stuff off and getting ready to put the new one on, and like I said, we'll see how this goes whenever we get to the point where we spray it on. Okay, to take this felt off, all I'm doing is just getting a screwdriver, prying under these couple of staples on the end, just to free them up or to loosen them up. Got one more, get that up here. There you go, there's that. Just watch, you might want to wear gloves or grab a pair of pliers so you don't stab yourself. Okay, then I'm just peeling it over. And this one was only glued, it looks like, just along the edge. So they didn't spray glue the entire thing. So you can see it's just peeling off like that. And I'm just grabbing the back side of it and peeling it. So get down to the other side, same thing. You might have to pry the staples off, or you might be able to just kind of work them out with the material as you're pulling it. This one has a bunch in it, So I might have to get the screwdriver. Oh, no, see, it's coming right off the end. Just be careful so you don't mess up that rubber bumper on the very end. Oh, come on, give it a little tug. And it just came off. So that's it. You can see like where some of the material was still, some of the fabric itself was stuck to the glue. So it looks like they only really glued it kind of maybe right along this edge and then mostly on the back side here. So we'll do the same thing. They didn't get anything up on the rubber itself, maybe a little overspray, but that was it. You can see it was, looks like Championship. That's the same brand of felt that we just bought. So that's what we're going to put on it. So we're going to do this to the rest of the bumpers. Okay, so here is the uncovered bumper, one of the bumpers. It has obviously some rubber on it. So the back part of it is wood or like a composite. And then the front is rubber. That's the actual part that the ball will bounce off of. If this part is bad, you can buy these and re-glue them on there. This one is fine. You can also get new ends. There's a separate, if you can see it, a separate little piece of rubber here, and they sell these. You could even get them on Amazon. It's just these little pads. So if these pads are shot, you can just get new ones and just use the same, I believe the same spray on adhesive and just redo those. This all looks fine though. So we're just going to go around and take the rest of the felt off and then put new felt on these pieces. No, all the way. There you go.
Should we do that on the other? Oh, that's not that heavy. The world's strongest man can lift that easily.
Okay, so we're going to work our way around the whole perimeter. I thought it was actually glued, but it's not. This whole center section isn't. They just glued the edge. You can see it's just these last couple inches. So I guess that's what we'll do when we put the new stuff on. But this glue is really, really stuck. So we're having a hard time getting it off. So it's going to be a little while. We're going to work our way around. Oh, get it off and then we'll put the new one on.
Oh, I can't do this. See?
Okay, we got the old felt off. Actually, it's pretty thick. I didn't realize the back of it looked like this with that material. So we're going to open the new one up. Hopefully it's sort of like this. That was pretty nice. This one feels a lot lighter, so I'm guessing it doesn't look like that.
Whoa.
Oh, got some black chalk.
We got, with the thing that you get, you get 2 chalks. Ours are black chalks.
Yep, we got black felt to go on it. You can get it in a bunch of different colors. We just ordered this off of Amazon. Green is a standard color, black, red, blue, tan. They had a bunch of different ones, but we decided to go with black because it kind of matched a lot of the other stuff we had. Now looking at this is just a standard felt. It is not nearly as nice as the one that came off, but I think it'll still be fine. Okay, we just did a quick search to make sure we understood the difference between these. So apparently the felt that we got is the standard type of replacement felt that you would put on. The felt that's on the floor here that we just took off has like a rubber backing and it's more durable, and that's because this was a coin operated machine, probably in a bar somewhere. So that was typically the type of material or the felt that they would put on with that rubber backing to just make it more durable so that it would last longer, so they'd have to replace the felt quite as often.
Okay, so we took a break, and while we were taking a break, we realized we have cats, and our cats like to lay on our pool table. And the black felt wasn't going to do so well with that because you were going to see a lot of cat hairs and just wouldn't look nice. So we and it was also not very not as durable as we wanted. So we got a new felt. The brand is AccuPlay. I was gonna grab it, but I didn't. And it is also it's a 20 ounce. It is thicker.
Yeah, that's it. So we're gonna take this one now. We're gonna trim out the edges, and we're gonna start to spray it and pull it out. And like Blake said, this is a 20 ounce felt versus the 19, so it feels a little bit more durable. Still not like a 24 or 25 ounce, but the 20 seems pretty durable. It actually feels pretty similar, other than the rubber backing that's on the old one. So we're gonna take the old one off. We're gonna lay this one down, and we're gonna grab the spray, and we're gonna get some cardboard and figure out how to do this with the Slate just sitting up on top of the pool table, and we'll show you how it goes. And we'll probably fast forward through a lot of it, but we'll at least, yeah,
take a while.
it's probably going to take a while. So we're going to try to at least get this section done now, and then we'll do the bumpers after the Slate's done. Okay, so let's,
Should we take off that?
yeah, let's take
This.
the green one off.
Did you already get it? Whoa, there's
Good.
the.
Take yours, pull.
Whoa, naked. Naked pool table, people. Whoa, you can tell there's drinks right there.
Yep. I re-wiped this down. So after we took that off the first time, I wiped this whole thing down. So it should be clean. And you can see where the glue was originally sprayed here and around the edge.
And if things were spilled, you could definitely.
Yeah, you can definitely see stuff was spilled on this Slate. So I'm gonna do a quick wipe just to make sure there's no little bumps of like fuzz or anything on here. And then we're gonna figure out how to sort of like mask an area off and spray it. So I think we're gonna start on the end, get it stuck. We'll do the other end, we're gonna pull it tight. And then once that's done, we'll go side to side with it. And then we're gonna see how this works. Okay, so again, we're using the 3M high strength 90 contact adhesive. It recommends that you spray this on both sides or both materials. So we're going to spray some on the felt and then some on the Slate. You're supposed to let it set for between, it said like 1 and 3 minutes until it gets a little bit tacky. You can put your knuckle against it to see if it feels tacky. And then once it does, I guess it's tacky enough that it feels tacky, but it doesn't come off. It doesn't stick to your knuckle or your finger or whatever you touch it with. Then you can combine the two materials. So then you would put the felt onto the Slate, kind of stretch it out to where it needs to be, hold it in place, and let it set for 1 to 10 minutes to set up, and then do the next section. So that's what we're going to try. The tricky part is going to be spraying this stuff so that we don't get it all over the place. It did say do 1 to 3 coats of this, so we're probably going to do at least 2 coats, and then we'll see how that goes. Okay, so we got the felt laid out, just laying on the top of the Slate right now. Again, we have the 7-foot table. We bought a 7-foot kit, so it's pre-cut to just kind of hang a little bit over. It's a couple inches over each side. I laid it on here so it's about even. You can measure it if you want to get it precise, but I just kind of eyed it up. It's about 3 inches right now, probably 2.5, 3 inches from the edge of the Slate to the edge of the felt on either side, and then side to side it's probably about the same thing. So it's pretty close to where it needs to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip that far end up. We're going to spray the Slate, we're going to spray the back side of the felt, and then like I said before, we're going to let that get tacky, put those together, and we're going to do the same thing on this side and pull it.
Okay, so we have to cut the corners off. Well, everybody should, because if you try to pull this in, it's not going to be the full inside, and so you're going to need to cut some off so it can get the full rounded shape so the ball can fit in the hole.
Yeah, we're going to trim it. Why don't you grab a corner of that and we'll show them. So you're going to trim a little bit off, and then you're going to actually slice it so that you can peel it under and around. If you pull your old Slate off, or your old felt off the Slate, you'll see it here. This is kind of what it looks like. This was one of the corners. So they cut it on a slight angle, and then they cut these little grooves into it, or these little slices into it, like taking like little V's out of it so that you can actually wrap it, like Blake was saying, wrap it underneath each of the pockets. Some kits will already come pre-cut like this. This kit did not, but I have seen some that will come with the pocket cutouts already done for you. But it's not that big of a deal. Like I said, once we start getting it stretched out, we'll do that as we go.
And if you get a complete new one, there are going to be wrinkles, and well, there definitely are. If you want to, you can probably just steam that to get the wrinkles out.
Yeah, from what we've read, they say you can be very careful. Put a damp cloth down, and then put an iron on very low heat on top of the cloth, and then just kind of work it across those, and that will work a lot of the wrinkles out. But from everything that I read, you can also just pull it and get the majority of it out, and then in time, whatever little ones are left will just kind of work their way out. So we're going to try pulling it first. We're going to pull both sides of it tight. If it looks like there's going to be some bigger wrinkles in it, then we'll try the steam process. But for now, we're going to try doing it without it because I don't want to try to mess the felt up. Okay, so as you can see, there's cardboard down here. I'm actually going to lay some cardboard up here too. I'm going to spray the underside of this. I'm going to spray this edge, and then I'm going to spray just along the edge here, and then I'm going to spray the back side of the felt. And then from there is when we're going to, once it gets tacky, we're going to roll it around and stick it. So I'm going to start on the underside, and we'll see how this goes. It would actually be easier if the slate was up higher, but right now this is what we have, so that's what we're going to work with.
Ooh, that smells weird.
So I'm just following the same pattern that they had on here. The spray works a whole lot better than if you were trying to brush it on, especially when you do it on the felt, because if you try to do a roll on or a brush on, it's going to glob up or seep through it, and the spray works really, really nice. And it's a pretty tight pattern. Doesn't seem to overspray a whole lot, which is good. You can kind of spray it right where you want it to go. I'm used to spray paint that just kind of goes all over the place, and this is not doing that. Okay, we waited 3 minutes, and you can feel it's like tacky. There you go, but not like too tacky. So we're gonna roll it over, and we're gonna stick this thing.
Should I move down? To get like a better angle on the stick.
Okay, so I gently set it down. I'm trying to work any of the wrinkles and creases out to the side before I wrap it underneath. So I'm going right along this edge, just pushing it. Okay, now I'm going to wrap it under. I'm actually going to go over the edge first here, and then we'll go under. You can see it's starting to stick. Just a little bit at a time, because you don't want any creases to build up. Right there. Now I'm going to start from the center, go underneath, and we'll do these corners after. Okay, it feels pretty good. And so we left the corners alone for right now. I want to get it end to end tight, and then we'll work those in later. But yeah, that feels pretty good. That looks sticky, or it felt sticky, and it feels stuck. So we're going to now do the same thing on the other side.
this is the worst that's happened yet.
Okay, so we're ready to do this side. I did get a little bit of overspray right here. It actually, when I was spraying the other side, it shot up. A couple little dribbles went on that, so I'm going to wait a little bit till it dries to get that off. But right now, we are going to get ready to pull this thing tight and see how this works out. I'll take the cardboard off. Same thing, I'm going to start from the middle. Pull it. Ooh, you gotta watch, as soon as you touch that, it wants to really stick. And you could, there's a lot of stretch in this. You really can pull it tight to the point where I may have been able to leave a little bit more. I probably should have left a little bit more overlap on the first side and then pulled it tight to get this second side to stick. Because we're gonna end up with a lot more on this side, but that's fine. I'm actually gonna hit this with just a little bit more glue right here. Just to be safe. Yeah, I knew it would stretch. I didn't think it was going to stretch quite that much. I know this isn't sitting for the 1 to 3 minutes, but I don't want this to set up too much. So I'm going to do this. We're going to pull it tight. So I'm kind of just I pulled the center, now I'm pulling the ends over a little bit to get that. And then I think we should be able to pull, oh yeah, when we do the sides you can see it's going to pull that out. So all those little seams and stuff, the creases that were in there are all coming out. So I have the overlap that I need on both sides. I'm going to work this in, let it stick. Same thing, we're going to bend it under, fold it over there, get that edge to stick, and then tuck it under. Okay, that actually wasn't so bad. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on both sides. We don't necessarily need to record it, but we're going to do the same thing. We're going to flip it up, spray both sides, do one side, get it to stick, do the other side, and then the slate will be done. Well, the main part of it. Then we're going to do the corner. We'll do the corners after that. I'm going to do the corners last, just because I want to make sure everything else is tight. So I'm going to get ready to do the sides now.
So we finished doing all the sides, and as you can see, down right there, we got that side glued, and we got that side over there glued. And now we cut this pocket like this, and this is what we're gonna do to all of them, and we're gonna spray we cut it with scissors, or you could use a box knife.
You could use a utility knife. If you have a good pair of like material scissors, That's what these ones are. It cuts through it very easily. Or if you just have a sharp pair of kitchen scissors, that'll work as well. Now be careful. You don't want to cut all the way up to the end, because when you pull it, you don't want to see those seams. So cut it just to your almost like about a 3/4 of an inch or so away from this top lip. Then you could pull it, you could wrap it, and that's going to give you your curve as you glue it, but you won't see those seams. So we're going to get ready now. I'm just going to finish cutting the rest of these. Blake and I are going to spray the back sides, and then we're going to wrap it around and glue them. Lift it up. Slide out quickly, Blake. Quickly. Quickly. Get it out. Go to the side. Take it out. Okay. Slowly. Lower that down. In. Okay.
Bing, 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 bing.
Same thing on this side. So Blake, this is a heavy one.
I know.
Straddle that side.
It looks like it already broke. But
Okay, come on, Blake. Slide it up. Come on.
I'm nervous.
Come on, just turn it up.
up, Blake.
Wait, I mean,
Come on,
it's
come on,
heavy.
get it out.
It's so heavy.
Come on.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Slowly lower and watch your fingers.
Ah.
Oh my goodness, it's really small.
Well, it seems so low.
Okay, as you saw, we just very gently lifted each side up. You want to make sure you support the center and the end, not just the end, because you don't want to take a chance of it cracking in the middle. We took that out and just took those pieces of wood out and then gently lowered it in. So there is the slate itself. That, I'm not going to say it was the hardest part. It was the part that was giving me the most stress because I didn't want to crack that slate. But it's in, so that's good, and that's done. Now we're going to work on all the little bumpers that are sitting around here. Probably not tonight, since it's getting a little bit late. I know you can't tell what time it is from the video, but it is getting a little late, so we're going to save that for another day. We'll show you how that goes, and then we'll get these things put back on.
Okay, so now we're going to do the rails. We got one done so we can explain it and figure it out. And we are going to show you how we did it with this rail.
Okay, so like Blake said, we're going to show you here. We're actually going to do this work in the garage though, because we don't want to get glue all over the place. I just put the cardboard down underneath of it so you could kind of see what was going on, so it didn't all blend in. So these are the pieces that come with the kit. You can see they're a little bit long, which is fine. We'll end up trimming that. So what I did when I did the test rail, the first rail, was I flipped it over. This is the back side of the rail. This is the front side with the rubber bumper. I lined it up so that when I fold this felt up, it hits about halfway. And then I sprayed this whole section with the glue. So a little bit over the back part of the rail, and then a little bit onto the material. Once that got tacky, I flipped it up and I stuck this whole back side. Not all the way to the very end, but pretty close to the end. Once that was done, I rolled it over. Imagine this was stuck and I rolled it over. And I'm going to turn it so you can see it. So I rolled it over so that this section was stuck. I sprayed the center right here in the center of this, and then when that got sticky, I pulled it up and stuck it. That way that was the center portion of the material was stuck together. That way I could tug the ends and pull it tight and get all the little seams and creases and bubbles and stuff out of it. So I did that. Once this was stuck together, I trimmed the edge so that I had just a little bit of overlap. And then, I'll show you on the back of this, it's going to be a little bit hard to see, but I cut a zigzag pattern, sort of like what I did, what you saw for the pockets. So I cut little, almost like teeth into it. And then I sprayed the whole inside, so this whole section, this rubber end and all around here with glue, and the inside of the material with glue. And once it got tacky, I started on the top side and started pulling it. And if you could see, you could sort of see like some of the little teeth. I started pulling it in, over and in, and then I kept wrapping it and just kind of working it with my thumb to try to get the wrinkles out. This one on the very bottom does have a little bit of a wrinkle, but the outside actually doesn't look too bad. You can see a little bit there. Again, we're not professionals, but for what we're doing at home, I thought that turned out pretty nice. And then just worked it all the way around. So as you go, just kind of go slow, and then you may have to trim it as the material overlaps. As you saw at the very beginning of the video, the original one was stapled. That is another way to do it. I just didn't feel like using the staples. I was just using glue. So I sprayed it with the glue, wrapped it all over, and then when that was stuck, I would spray more glue, more on the inside of the material, and then fold that over and just keep folding it. So I just built like layer after layer. If you wanted to use a little staple gun, you could do that. You could start here and slowly work your way around as you're pulling the material in, which is probably why the original backing of the rails had a bunch of staples in it. They probably did the same thing, stapled it and worked their way around. And then obviously you want to cut out an area where the screws go through here and attach to this. But that's it. So I just say take your time. This did take a long time. This one rail took me about a half an hour. So it's going to take some time to do the rest of this. But essentially that's the process, at least that we used. So one side all the way across, the other side in the middle, pull out, trim, make your little zigzag pattern, and then just start working it around. And that's it. So we're going to take these out to the garage and start covering the rest of these, and then we'll show you what they look like when they're done, and we're going to screw them all back into place.
Okay, so we finished doing all the rails, and this took us about 5 hours-ish. It took us that long because this is our first time refelting a pool table. And now we are going to reattach the rails back onto the pool table. Whoa. Okay, so now we finished putting on all the rails. We took, what are they, giant screws?
Yeah, just screws.
We took the screws, we put them back in, and now we're going to put the trim back on. Okay, so now we finished putting on all the trim. As you can see, there's metal, so the trim. And now we're going to put the dot in the middle of these two dots, this one and this one, so we know where to put the tip of the rack.
Okay, so we're holding a string line across this to find the center. We already figured out where it needs to be, the halfway mark, so we have the tape measure on there. And we're going to set, can I have that? We're going to set this right there. And that's perfect. Ish. And then we're going to take that, we're going to peel it off and stick it right down. Actually, here, we'll just do it right now. You want to peel it? No, don't use your mouth. You get it all wet. I'll peel it off. Good, that's it, I didn't finish. Okay, tell 'em.
Okay, so now we finished putting on the dot, and we're going to test it out. And this is Ty. Gotta introduce Ty.
Yep. You want us to get the balls out and rack it up?
I gotta take you off, Ty. Now for the first break. Let's make this a good break.
Ooh.
We almost forgot to tell you the cost of this felt. This felt was $100, but prices may range from $80 to $300 for felt.
Yep, depending on the weight of the felt, or if you get the worsted, I don't know if that's how you pronounce
The
it,
material.
wool. Yeah, the type of material versus this type of felt.
Thank you for watching. I hope you learned how to refelt a pool table. And like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video.